All right, this is Crayson Jackson interviewing Mr. Luis Zayas about a traumatic moment in his life. I'm going to let him go ahead and just quickly introduce himself and give the circumstances surrounding the event. And, excuse me, not the circumstances, sorry. Just give a brief overview of the event, and then we will go from there. All right, Luis, go ahead.
All right, so let's see. My first car accident. I had an '02 Elantra, and I was in South Central LA. What was happening that night was I had two friends in the car, and that specific night I had both of those friends meet each other for the first time. So they were both my friends. Only one of them was playing, and the other guy was my friend that also liked music. And they just met, and I was kind of a roadie that night. And luckily the car accident happened after the gig on the way back, and totaled my car. But I don't know, I mean, that was it. It was me and two other people.
Okay. Good. So how did the circumstances surrounding the event impact the situation?
Well, what do you call it? I had one of my friends try, let's see, how did it impact the situation? I don't know. Wow, I really don't know. That's kind of broad.
So perhaps maybe the people involved, I guess, how did maybe like their personalities or things that they did impact the experience of the car wreck rather?
Yeah. I guess I'll tell you how it impacted me. Up until that point, I was really comfortable driving. I mean, I still am comfortable now, but there was a period I didn't drive for a long time after that. And I'd kind of flinch a lot. You know? Want me to keep going?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, one of my friends, I stopped speaking to him for a little bit after that. Just kind of trusted me less. But regarding myself, with how it affected me, it was my first accident, so it was really... My parents didn't trust me after that, that's for sure. And they were pissed at me for, I would say, yeah, because the accident happened, but for some reason it kind of uprooted other issues we had, which was interesting.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if anything, that made me more upset than the accident itself, because they just think I couldn't. It's almost like they didn't want me to take responsibility for myself, and I kind of felt like I had to drag myself through mud to show them I can be responsible for my own stuff. I mean, it sounds really simple, but
makes sense though. It does make sense. I
Yeah.
totally get you on that.
Yeah.
So in the heat of the moment, so as the accident is happening, how did your feelings, both actually in the experience of the accident and both after, affect the situation and your life, positive or negative, or both rather?
Or both. Well, when the accident itself happened, while I was in the car spun, and obviously it was, all that stuff happens fast. So when it happened, immediately after it happened, it was so unbelievable. I was almost just watching myself in the movie. Like everything, you just had to let it happen. Everything was happening. After the moment, though, once we were out of the car, I've never felt anything like it. I had, maybe it was the adrenaline or something, but I felt like I actually felt really confident. I wanted to make sure everyone was out of the car, and wanted to see where the other car was. Saw some of the witnesses, even when the cops rolled through. The other car ended up on the tracks. I had to tell them to get the car off the tracks and everything. They almost didn't even know I was in the accident until they, had to come question me. And I mean, I don't know, I guess I knew I could handle my shit after that.
Well, let's try to refrain from, I guess,
just keep going.
negative verbiage, but or negative adjectives. What was the outcome of that moment? What was the overall outcome?
The overall outcome of that moment. Well, I never went to a South Central show again. I actually didn't drive a car for a long time. That happened in 2014. I didn't own a car until, not that long, until like 2016. Was it 2016? Yeah, it was until like 2016. I didn't own a car. I didn't drive for a long time. Every time I did drive after that, for work or friend's car or whatever, a lot of it did stay with me in the beginning. I'd be a little traumatized going through intersections, even though my light would be completely green. I don't know. I'd slow down. I'd put my foot over the brake. I'd have to stare at the green light and convince myself it was green. Just weird stuff like that. And but for some reason, it's like my mind also had to relive the moment too. Every time I'd go through an intersection, like the swiftness of the impact, or the strength of it, like my body would kind of have to imagine the inertia of all of that, it almost like my mind wanted to prepare myself for another accident.
Right. I understand that completely. And then finally, what valuable life lesson did you learn?
Valuable.
If you learned any.
Oh, that's right, huh? So I could be dumb and not learn any lessons.
Yeah, it's possible.
Well, I learned to just be a lot more careful, I was having a good time when it happened, so, it wasn't as bad as other people, with DUIs and everything, and we walked out of that accident, even though the car was done. But, when I drive now, I don't trust other drivers at all, whatsoever.
You're always in the defense.
Exactly. Even though I wasn't necessarily doing anything wrong when it happened, now I always think of the worst possible thing that'll happen, and I just tend to slow my roll on things. And sometimes those things happen, and you get cut off, all that small traffic stuff. And I'm like, wow, you're actually gonna do that, But I think I've become a better driver because of that. I used to think that you just get in accidents just if you're being dumb. you know, or don't know how to drive, but it's not really you, especially in the city. You know, everyone's trying to get their way, and you have to measure how to be considerate driver.
And cautious too, I imagine.
Yeah, and cautious. And knowing when to yield too, because a lot of people don't know how to yield. And even by that, I mean when it's their turn and they don't understand that you're the one that needs to yield, and then, you know, and then they cause traffic and all that, and just things like that. So sometimes you need to compensate for people too, and you need to know when people aren't going to drive correctly, I guess. You gotta kind of do it for them, keep the traffic flow, things like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I've gotten a lot better with my intersections too. Don't traumatize me as much.
Well, Luis, thanks for your time. It's been great. I'm glad you got through that traumatic situation. And yeah, thank you very much.